Hi, so welcome back. In my last video, I stated that I would be giving you guys a little background history on me so you guys can get to know me just a little bit better. So, with that being said, the topics I'm going to go over, if you don't mind, is I'm going to be looking down at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. Childhood, health, physical activity, sleep quality, um, outside influences, health, and education. Yeah. So let's get started. Okay. So this is what it is. Growing up as a child, me and my siblings, we never got sick, like never ever. We got the occasional sniffles and runny nose, but nothing sick that we had to take medicine for. And my parents would do a preventive care, if you will, by way of administering, lining us up and giving us a tablespoon of cod liver oil. I still can't say that till this day. Chased down with a big navel orange juice. That was my favorite part. And again, we never got sick. And our meals consisted of like the foods we grew in the garden and some packaged food. My parents grew just about everything. No, I take that back because nothing is absolute. My parents grew a lot of our vegetables. So we had our meals consisted of home cooked meals. Never ever did we eat out. And also our meals were we consumed our meals together. We it wasn't like one sitting over here, one sitting over there. It wasn't that at all. It was always we sitting down eating together, which I like because that gives the family a time to come together, talk about what the day was about. And I'm saying this because I'm making a point here. And so yeah, and the only purchased food that we would get would be like packaged food, canned goods. Certain canned goods, vegetable my parents didn't cook, didn't grow, then if it wasn't in a whole food form, then if he couldn't find it in a whole food form, then he would get the canned version. And but the packaging was like oatmeal, the beans that we ate, and some pasta. Not a lot, but some pasta. Because my mother made everything from scratch for the most part. So, and now in terms as far as our physical activity, that was done just by way of our lifestyle. I mean, we would get up, eat our big bowl of oatmeal in the morning, and then we would walk to school. And that's where part of our physical activity cut came in because it was like 10 blocks going and 10 blocks coming back. Even though there was bus service, we decided we wanted to walk, not because we wanted physical activity, but to be able to um, be around the other neighborhood kids and laugh and talk and that type of thing. So that was our physical activity in part. And then after school, we would come home, walk home, and then we would go out and play, depending on the age group. We would chase each other. We would play baseball, volleyball, and the list would go on. And then we do chores in the garden and chores around the house. So we were constantly moving for the most part. And then in the evening time, we would sit again and eat our dinner together. And then we would prepare for bed, and we would sleep. We were in bed. We would watch TV first, and then we were in bed like for about 8 o'clock. I want to say eight. Yeah, no later than 8:15 for sure. Not that we went to sleep at 8:15 or 8 o'clock, but we definitely got our 7, 8 hours of sleep in the morning. And so moving on to the next one. And then I should know this by heart, but you know what, guys, I don't want to forget anything, so I have my notes. No shame to my game, okay? And so that's when the outside influences came in. Let's talk about that. Growing up, like I said, we never ate fast food, we never ate out. So we wanted to eat what the other kids in the neighborhood were eating, and what the other kids would bring for their lunch. I mean, we thought that was exciting, and we thought we were being held back and punished because we were eating vegetables and eating healthy. Little did I know. But at any rate, um, yeah, where was I? So we want to start eating that, and the only way we was going to eat that, and I know our parents would never ever buy that for us. Not that we didn't eat occasional little snacks, but it was done in small portions. So again, it was like we would have to get it on our own. That was the only way that that was going to happen. And we would do that some way, somehow. Sometimes our friends would give us a little snack, or sometimes if we babysat or didn't tell that my sister was on the phone after hours, that she would get her boyfriend to buy me a burger. And man, even though my mother made the best burgers, but I just wanted to try something fast food, and it was good. Now, looking back, not that it was better than my mother's, but it was good. And so it just started progress from there. I started eating more and more of, and as I got older, started eating more and more. Genetically, we are healthy individuals. However, eating is the type of food that you eat is so important. I didn't realize that later on. My health just started to change. Years later, I mean, before years later, I think I was about 16, 17, a year later after I started eating burgers, fast food behind my parents' back for the most part. I think they knew in some kind of way. But I broke out in cystic acne. Now, I did have acne before, but not bad. Nothing, just, you know, growing acne. But this was cystic acne, and it was under the skin. It was these heels that would show up on my face, and they would hurt. And yeah, it started there. And then maybe about, I was 17, 18, I started getting the migraine headaches. And then later on, a few years later, I started getting, and the migraine headaches would last, I kid you not. They would last for 2.5 days, maybe 3 days. Actually, a week lasts for 2.5, 3 days. But the last 2 days, the additional 2 days, it was you coming off that horrible, horrible feeling. So I say a week. And yeah, that would happen once a month. If I smelled anything, if something triggered it, it would just happen. And so I had, then later on, I started getting like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, brain fog, fatigue, digestive issues, and aches and pains. And I just chalked it up to, this is what it is. And I will share this with you too. My parents weren't experiencing any of those things. They lived well into their 90s and early 90s. And so it was like, hmm, but didn't think anything of it. And so I ran across one of my colleagues at work. We were talking, and she was telling me how she eat certain foods, and she just started eating certain foods, like a lot of vegetables. Still, the light bulb still didn't go off. A lot of vegetables and a lot of home cooked meals. I was doing that, but not the home cooked meal. That is, not that much. I was still eating out a lot. And she says, yeah, it works for my mother. She had diabetes, and it just is helping her. And then I had another colleague friend. She was told me about this doctor. She had rheumatoid arthritis, and the way she was eating helped with the pain and eased the pain. And I said, okay, this is really good. Now, I was in the first semester of my MPH, my master's in public health. And so I was taking my core courses, and I started to think, okay, I wanna learn more about this. I want to learn more about this food thing and how the environment and just the whole gamut affects your health. So I just started doing that, and I started doing that, learning more, becoming more aware, if you will, as to how food, your environment, and just the air affects you, and when I say environment, your mental environment, your emotional environment, your spiritual environment, how that affects you along with your food. And I said, oh, this is so good. And I started applying some of the things, and I started to see a little difference. But the food thing just didn't really click right away. It didn't say bring me back to my childhood. And so I think yeah, I know what happened. My budget was getting tight because I was eating out a lot, and so I said, okay, I'm gonna have to come back. I'm gonna have to come back eating out, and I did. I started cooking more at home, and I slowly put no, not slowly. It was quite aggressive, pulling back from eating out, and I started eating at home. And that was the best thing for me. I started noticing a difference in terms of my mental stability. Not so much mental stability, but my the brain fog went away. I was able to just think more clearly, not entirely, but just a little bit clearly. And my digestive issues started to subside. And yeah, and then I started incorporating more plants and vegetables. And as I was doing that, I think once I finished my master's program, I thought, there's something missing. There's something, not so much missing, but something, another piece of this puzzle I need. And then that's when I discovered the Institute for Integrated Nutrition. And that's when for health coaching. And that's when I applied for this year-long intensive program there. And oh my, that was like deciding the public health gave me the foundations and the walls. And but this integrated nutrition health coaching program gave me the in-depth information as to how food on and off your plate, and that's another story for another day, will affect you. The food on your plate is just that, the food you eat. The food off your plate is your environment, is your self-awareness, is your um, insight in terms of how you feel about yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, your finances, your work environment, just the whole gamut. And it was like, wow, this is good. So that was like, okay, I got the drywall in, the walls are painted. But there was another piece of the puzzle missing, and I thought, hmm. So one day I was at work and I ran into a colleague of mine, and she said that she was telling me what she was doing. She said, "Well, I'm back in school, and getting my master's in health and wellness." And I went, "Wait, shut the front door, get out of here!" And she says, "Well, what are you talking about?" I said, "I need that. Tell me more about that." And she just started telling me more about it. And I was so intrigued, I signed up the next semester. I did my research, of course, because that's what I do. And I did my research, and then I found out that the program goes even more into depth in terms of of the diversities of food and how it affects everything, which I already knew, but this went deeper and this applied the wellness part in terms of how we self care and self love ourselves in a sense. And there's a bunch of other things, but I'm not going to go into that. But the point is that was the roof on the house. And I said, okay, I'm ready to go. So I started and doing that process, let me back up a little bit. Doing that process, I started kind of like eliminating, just eliminating like milk, dairy. I wasn't a cheese eater, but I was a big milk drinker. I went from drinking whole milk to skim milk to soy milk to almond milk, plant-based milk, and now in getting rid of cereals and yogurts, just the whole thing. And that's when things just totally cleared up. I think a month into doing that, getting rid of the dairy and just going full blown whole foods, just plants, period. I yeah, I noticed that everything was changing for me. It just things were just my health was just changing for the better. And I realized, and that's when I realized the light bulb went off, and I said, this is what my parents were doing when we were growing up. This is why we never got sick. We never ever were sick. And I thought to myself, this is how I want to live. Rather I live to be 70 or 80, either way, I want it to be a good, healthy living. I want to be able to do all the things I did when I was 7, when I was 15, when I was 17, when I was 20, to be able to do all of those things. And yeah, we're going to change over time. I get that. And as we become older, we're going to change. I get that. But as I am gracefully aging, I want to be able to be healthy while I'm gracefully aging. And that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to, my desire is for you guys to have a lifestyle. And like I stated in one of my other videos, of energy, flexibility, love, peace, joy, just a gamut of wonderful, positive feelings and emotions and that spews out into your physical environment. And that's what I want for you guys to be health advocates for yourself, to be able to have an engaging conversation with your healthcare team, to be able to have a dialogue and not a monologue. You plan your health. You have a say as to what you want to do. And that's what this channel in part is about, empowering you to be that healthy you that you're supposed to be. You know, healthy done your way. So, that being said, if you are interested, then stay with me and I'll try my very best to post every 2 weeks. Again, I'm new at this and I'm still learning, and I probably will be learning till until. So, yeah. So I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, drop your comments or questions down below, and I'll try to answer them and get back with you as soon as possible. Until the next time, bye.